Can I hear you there?
Of course, thank you.
You just wanted to click it?
Which camera do we look into? This one here, okay. I can't believe we're actually going to talk about this.
It's time for us to put our opinions forward. Sorry, I just need a second. Do you want to continue? Do you want to do this?
We are really opening ourselves up to some of the massive controversies when it comes to...
Quick heads up, this video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Well, ahoy there, cruisers. We are just joking, of course. We're going to talk about it's our Netflix debut. We're going to talk about some of the things that are very controversial on cruise ships.
Absolutely. We've scoured the internet, we've scoured the comments, and all your questions that you have sent us that are the most controversial.
I think I accidentally put in like 12 sugars. Oh my gosh, I have overfilled my tea. Yes, a controversial one today. First of all, one thing that we keep seeing over and over again is auto gratuity, a scam just for the cruise lines to pay the crew. This is a bit of a grey area because yes and no. Some cruise lines are amazing. Some don't do gratuities at all, which is fabulous as well. But for Disney Cruise Line, for example, they tell you exactly where all of your tips are going to go to. So it's all broken down into the different people who've served you throughout the cruise, which is fantastic because we all love the transparency and you know exactly where those tips are going to go. Lately, there's been a bit of chatter online that basically the tips are going to make up the base wage of some crew on some cruise lines. Now, let us know in the comment section below if you'd like us to do a bit of investigative journalism and do an episode just maybe based entirely on this, because it's super important that we get all of the facts right so we don't defame any cruise lines or say things that are not right, because it's getting crazy. Cruise tips now are anywhere between like $20 and $25 per person. Now for a week cruise for two people, this can be in excess of $300, so it's a huge chunk of money. Is it going on top of their wages, or is it actually making up their very low wages in the first place? Let us know in the section below.
Let's talk about drinks packages. Are they a big scam, a big rip-off, and are they actually worth it? Well, again, there is two camps in this one because it really depends on you and the way that you cruise. Now, we always used to buy the drinks package, particularly when it was our vacation every single year, the big annual cruise that we used to do, mainly before we started this channel. The main reason is that we just wanted to enjoy our time on board, wanted to have a couple of drinks and not worry about spending money and having a gigantic bill at the end of the cruise. However, since then, we've changed, and I also feel like drinks packages have changed as well. They've definitely got a lot more expensive, and we've kind of realized that for us, they're just not worth it. You do have to work out how many drinks you are going to be drinking a day, and also think about, are you going to be drinking every single day? Are you going to be on the ship every single day, which is a big thing that people forget about? And just do a quick calculation to work out how much you would spend on average. And then simply look at how much the drinks packages are on your cruise and see if it is going to be worth it. Now, a big tip as well, if you do have a drinks package and you do order a particular drink, make sure you specify the exact spirit or alcohol that you want in it. Because some cruise lines can be a little bit sneaky and maybe use lower quality alcohol in your cocktail. So for example, if you want a Grey Goose vodka martini, just say, I'd like a Grey Goose vodka martini to make sure you're getting exactly what you want.
So our shore excursions booked on a cruise line, just an overpriced safety blanket. Well, yes and no. So if you don't know, by safety blanket, we mean that if you book a cruise excursion with the cruise line that you're traveling with, they guarantee that you get back to the ship on time, because if you don't and you're not on a cruise booked shore excursion and you turn up late back to the ship, well, the ship won't wait and you'll see it sailing off into the distance without you, and it can be a very costly exercise where you end up getting stuck in a different country. So in that respect, well, yes, they definitely are a safety blanket, but if you're sensible, you put a lot of research into it and you feel comfortable doing so, you can do it so much cheaper by doing it yourself. First up, there's several different shore excursion companies. One that we regularly work with and we've worked with for years are the Shore Excursions Group. We have a link in the description section below if you want to book. This isn't an ad at all, but we've used them loads of times. They are much cheaper on the whole than cruise lines, and they do offer a guarantee where they'll get you back to the ship, and if they can't, you will be given money and help to get to the next port, which is very, very good. Then there's DIY, so you can do things just by booking things online with companies like Get Your Guide or Klook or Viator, or you can just go grab a cab in the local port, use local transportation like metro systems and buses and trains, and that ends up being a lot cheaper. But what's most important is that you put the research in before you leave, just to know how far you want to go away from the ship, how long it's going to take to get back, how much it's going to cost, and that the company, if you're going to use one, is reputable. It's really important that they have a good, solid set of reviews that are good, because you don't want to be ripped off in port and you don't want to end up stranded somewhere that you don't want to be. But a bit like the drinks package, you're given peace of mind because you don't have to worry at all about not getting back to the ship on time. We've done DIY cruising in ports for absolute decades basically now, guys, and we've never missed the ship. It's just all about being prepared, and it can definitely save you money.
So next, are casino cruises actually free, or are they just a massive trap? Now by this, we mean if you play in the casino, you could be invited back onto the cruise for a free cruise in the future. Yes, they are a massive trap, but obviously if you enjoy the casino, you're going to be playing in the casino anyway. It's not exactly a trap, is it? Because that is something you enjoy, and a perk is that you will be invited back to the cruise, but on the understanding you go back to the casino and you spend a lot more money. So in that regard, they are not free because you have to spend money in the casino. So obviously you're going to have to spend a substantial amount of money in the casino to be invited on one of those free cruises. Now we don't actually know how much it is. It depends on the cruise line. They all have different ways of inviting people back. And I guess unless you're tracking every dollar and dime you're putting into a slot machine and then working out how much the cruise would have been, you're never going to win. The house always wins. And like I say, there's no such thing as a free meal.
So the next one is cruise etiquette and rule breaking. Now, something that we're seeing a lot on YouTube, which I personally don't like, are just constant videos about people dying on cruise ships, committing crime on cruise ships, and sort of getting hurt and things like that. Now, personally, we don't do that on this channel. We don't like it. I don't want to make money off other people's misfortunes. It's the last thing we want to do. But there are a few things that are definitely true. First up, a big contentious issue is chair hogging. Now, if you don't know what this means, it means people going out very early in the day, up to the decks and grabbing a sunbed and saving it. So chair hogs. Now, should that be allowed on a cruise line? Absolutely not. And if you do that, guys, it's really sad and you're just ruining other people's vacations, because what you're doing is saving a bed or 3 or 4 beds for all of your family or friends, and then leaving and then coming back and then maybe going away for lunch for 2 hours, then coming back. And what it means is that there isn't beds for people who want to be there right now by the pool, and it just sucks. Cruise lines are getting more and more strict with this as well. We're seeing it more often, which is so fantastic, that they're giving people time limits. So if you are away from your chair for 30 minutes or so, they'll put a notice on your chair, take all of your belongings, and you've got to go to guest services and collect them later on because you have been evicted, which I think is the right thing to do. I really don't like chair hogs. There's no need for it. Same goes for things like shows, so saving huge amounts of seats and rows for people who get there at the very last moment. It is so unfair. Cruise lines constantly tell you not to do it, but people keep doing it anyway. Stop, it's not fun.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace, and this one's easy for us to talk about because we genuinely use it every single day. What started as cruise videos for fun slowly turned into, well, a real thing, a business. Squarespace makes it ridiculously easy to monetize your content. You could create members-only content, things like blogs, videos or guides, and decide whether that's a one-off purchase or a subscription. What's best is that everything lives in one place. Website, content, sign-ups, payments, all under one roof, and then advertise your content with Squarespace email campaigns. And the design side? Well, it just looks good, whether you're on a laptop or a phone. It feels polished and intentional, which matters when you want people to trust what you're building. If you've got an idea, passion project, or something you've been meaning to put into the world, go to squarespace.com for a free 14-day trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Ben and David to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Oh, sorry, you just caught me having a quick drink of my bottle of vodka right here. No, I mean shampoo. My bottle of shampoo that I've brought for my lovely hair. Okay, so the next one is it ever acceptable to bring your own alcohol on board And fill a shampoo bottle? Well, no. Basically, absolutely not. There is strict limits on how much alcohol you can bring on board a cruise, and it does vary depending on the cruise line. So as long as you stick within those limits, it's absolutely fine. Feel free to bring on as much as you can on every cruise. Bringing extra alcohol on board, sneaking it on board, like for example, filling a shampoo bottle, it's not allowed. And you could be chucked off the cruise, you could be banned from the cruise line, you could actually be banned from multiple cruise lines because a lot of them are actually all owned by the same companies. So it's not worth it. It's not worth ruining your vacation, and it's not worth ruining your future vacations. Now, do we agree with it? Should there be limits? I personally don't think so. You check into a hotel, you don't have limits on the amount of alcohol you bring on board, but I understand why they are there. Sometimes people take it too far, they bring too much alcohol on board, and they completely ruin the vacation for other people. So this way the cruise lines can keep on top of how much people are drinking, but then also the cynical side would think that the only reason they put these alcohol limits in place is so that they make more money on board. But whatever you think, let us know in the comments section below which one you think it is. It's not worth sneaking anything on board because you could be banned and kicked off the cruise.
So the next one might ruffle a few feathers. Are kids ruining cruise ships, causing havoc, running around, being loud, being noisy? Well, no, we were all kids once. We all like to run around, we all like to make noise. It's just something that happens. If you don't want to be on a ship with kids, go on a cruise line like Virgin Voyages, or specifically choose a cruise where there are going to be less kids. You'll usually find this on longer cruises, so cruises longer than 7 days tend to have less children. Sailing out of holidays as well, so when schools are off, so when the kids are on summer break, Easter break, Christmas break, that sort of thing, if you cruise outside of those times, it can be a lot better, so there can be less kids. But if you're going to be choosing a cruise line like Disney Cruise Line or Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Line, Carnival Cruise Line, there's going to be lots of kids. You're just going to have to deal with it. A good tip from me is maybe choose a ship that has an adults only area. So Disney ships are probably one of the best for this because I think they're only one of the few that do this. So they have big adult only zones. So adult only pool areas with hot tubs and a pool and a bar, as well as several bars and pubs, even a nightclub on some of the cruise ships, which are just only for adults, which is very good indeed. So if you want to be a Grinch, maybe stay away from these cruise lines. Now, yes, honestly, hand on heart, we've had it on cruise lines in the summer holidays with a regular cruise line where there's been far too many kids on board, and it is a little bit overwhelming. People screaming everywhere, crying, running about. If you've got kids, I don't want to preach, guys, because we don't have kids, but we've got 7 nephews. Please make sure your kids behave though, because we've seen some really bad behavior on cruise ships, which is just awful, especially in front of parents as well, where kids are really running wild, causing havoc for the crew and other passengers. Naughty, nasty, it's not funny and it's a bit rude, so maybe stop that a little bit.
Is the upside down pineapple actually a thing? Now, if you know what this means, then, oh, hello. If you don't, essentially, there's this rumour, myth, or code among cruisers that if you place an upside down pineapple magnet on your door, you're inviting other cruisers to join you in your cabin for fun. Now, is this actually a real thing? You do see upside down pineapples on cruises, but I think 99% of the time, people are just having a laugh, and it's become a little bit of a joke. We've actually seen people upside down pineapple other people's cabins as a little bit of a comedy joke. But is it a real thing? Personally, I don't know. If you know, please let us know in the comments section below. We've never actually seen it, thankfully, because why would you? And if it is a thing, it's not circles that we cruise in. But you do see upside down pineapples on cruise ship doors. We've seen it.
Oh, it's getting downright controversial now. The next one is, should you be able to wear swimsuits, damp clothing, no top, pajamas in the main dining room and the buffets? Well, for me, that is an absolute no. I don't think you should be able to do that. Now, I don't have a problem with people not dressing up, even on a formal night, but I think there should be a certain level of how much you should be wearing. It should be respectful to others. A t-shirt, a shorts, a pair of Crocs, absolutely fine with me. But when you're coming in shirtless with your man boobs junking all over the cheese plates. That's not for me, guys, it really isn't. Or little thongs and tight bikini tops, save that for the pool. Don't bring that into where I've got to eat because I don't want to watch it, I really don't. And damp clothes is just rude as well because you're going to make the seats damp and it just makes the whole atmosphere feel a little bit, well, yucky yuck face. So that's a quick, easy one for me. I think there should be a certain level of dress for sure, I really do. So the next one's all about cabin and lifestyle debates, the big fight. So one of the questions we always get online and through email asking us, are balconies worth it over staying in an inside cabin? This all depends on you. It's your choice. If you're somebody who's not going to spend much time in your room or your cabin, an inside cabin's going to be absolutely fine, especially if you're not on a particularly scenic cruise. It very well might be worth booking an inside cabin. Because of this, you're going to save a lot of money because balcony cabins are a little bit more expensive. If you're on a cruise around Alaska, somewhere that's going to be beautiful, you're in a cruise in the Norwegian fjords, or you're going to be doing some beautiful scenic sailing, or if you just like getting outside, you feel a bit claustrophobic, if you're going to be in a room without any windows, you love that natural light, you love opening the doors and getting the breeze to come in, it's definitely going to be worth it. Now for us, we do prefer staying in a balcony cabin, but if it is a quick cruise, a 2 or 3 night cruise with lots of things to do, we will definitely go for an inside cabin. But otherwise we will book a balcony cabin because for us that's what cruising is all about. It's about seeing the sea, hearing the sea, taking in the waves. There's nothing nicer to me than standing on our balcony in the morning with a cup of coffee, watching us sail in port, or watching the beautiful views on the horizon, especially because we film as well. But if you are on a budget, do not worry about not being in a cabin that has an ocean view or a balcony because you can very quickly pop upstairs to the outside decks and take it all in for free.
Next, are solo cruisers been completely ripped off by the single solo supplement? Now, if you didn't know what this is, if you are traveling alone and you book a cruise cabin by yourself, on most cruise lines, you will have to pay an additional fee because you only have one person in that cabin. This can be double or it could be 50%. Now, if you are a solo cruiser, then yes, you are going to say that because you are essentially paying for somebody that isn't there. But there is ways around it. So have a look for cruise lines that offer solo cabins that don't have that extra supplement. Cruise lines like Princess Cruises, Virgin Voyages and Norwegian Cruise Line all have solo cabins when you're only paying for the cabin, nothing extra. The downside of that though is they are in limited supply, so they could either be sold out or they could actually be more than a regular cabin because they are more popular. So again, you are at a disadvantage if you are a solo traveller. But I do think it's changing. I hope it's changing. Solo cruising is becoming more popular because people like to travel alone and it's a great way to meet other people. So fingers crossed in the future it does change. But at the moment, unfortunately, you do have to pay a solo supplement on most of the cruise lines.
What happens if you're on a cruise ship, you break a bone, you get really sick, God forbid you have something like a heart attack or a stroke or something very nasty? Are the cruise line going to take your passport away until you pay that $10,000 bill? Well guys, they can't take the passport off you because that's not legal. They're not allowed to do that, but they will put what you owe on the bill, so on your credit bill that you have on board the cruise ship, and this can be very, very expensive. So this is where it's really important that you get travel insurance, and you have to make sure that travel insurance covers things like cruises, medical evacuation, so if you need to be taken off the cruise ship by a helicopter, as well as all of the places that you're going to be visiting on that cruise as well. You have to make sure it includes everything that you need. Otherwise, you could end up with a massive bill. Another thing to look out for are pre-existing conditions. Make sure that your insurance company knows these. If you've got a history of heart disease or another illness, or you're taking medications, your insurance company needs to know this and you need to be completely truthful with them. Now, we recommend taking a credit card or something, or having some sort of savings with you just in case of an emergency. You might be out of pocket, so make sure you have some money just in case place to pay these fees. Most cruise ships now have full medical centres on board with both doctors and nurses. Some cruise ships, it's the big ones, even have dentists on board, which is completely insane. But yeah, it can be a worry, and it does happen all of the time. It really does. It's so important that you have the correct travel insurance, because if you do have insurance, you'll really only ever usually be required to pay excess, so whatever you've agreed to pay excess wise, and then the cruise ship hopefully will get in contact with your insurance company once you give them the details and work out with them how the bill is going to be paid. So it's very important when you do get cruise travel insurance that you take all of the documents and numbers that you need with you, so all of your policy numbers and all of the details, so that you can pass that on to the cruise ship. Otherwise you could end up paying tens of thousands of dollars, and that's just the cruise ship itself. Once they offload you or take you, evacuate you to somewhere else, a different country, say in the Caribbean or Europe, wherever, you're going to have to pay the bills there as well. And if you don't have insurance, you're going to be pretty much screwed. It is so important. The cost of insurance is so much lower than the cost of having to pay medical bills.
Well, like we mentioned earlier, sometimes unruly kids can ruin cruises, but they're not the only ones that can be badly behaved. There's a lot of unruly adults as well. And should cruise lines ban them for life if you break the rules? Well, personally, we think absolutely you should. Everyone should be respectful on a cruise and treat each other with kindness. You need to stick to the rules because they're there for a reason, so that you don't harm yourself, you don't harm other people. Now, drinking too much happens a lot on cruises. Please guys, know your limits. You are in a confined space, and if you drink too much, do something stupid, you could see yourself detained and then deboarded, kicked off the cruise at the next port of call. Ships do have jails on board, so they do detain you in there if you are unruly, or you could actually just be detained in your cabin as well. So there is security on the ship, there is CCTV everywhere, so they do keep a track of everything and monitor you all the time. It's not worth it. Don't ruin your vacation, don't ruin other people's vacations, and don't end up on the news because you punched a clown in the buffet. Do you remember that one?
And finally, why does it seem like there's lots of things in the news about outbreaks on cruise ships, norovirus, diseases, coronavirus outbreaks? Now, are cruise ships really floating Petri dishes? If you didn't know, cruise lines are one of the only forms of transport or vacation where they have to report illnesses, any outbreaks, anything like that to the CDC and other authorities around the world. Places like hotels and big stadiums and places where lots of people meet don't tend to have to do that. So that's why you always see it happen on cruise ships. It's not because it's happening a lot. We've cruised over 100 times, like we've said, and I think I've been sick once in those 100 cruises. So it is overinflated, and what the media love to do as well, the media can be ruthless and relentless at bringing down crews. They always do it. Every time something happens at sea, it's always in the news, and unfortunately, like I said, now you've got a bunch of YouTubers who constantly make videos of outbreaks and norovirus and blah-de-blah-de-blah, and it's just so sad. Again, making money off people who are sick and unwell. But there are things that you can do. You can wash your hands before you eat every single time. Use hand sanitizer. It doesn't kill everything, but it's better than doing that. We clean our cabin as well. I know it's a bit over the top. We use Clorox wipes or Dettol wipes from the UK and give them a good clean. And we're just genuinely quite careful about what we put in our mouths. That's what she said. So that's it for our episode. If there are any controversial cruise mistakes or things happening, let us know in the comment section below. We'd love to cover that next time. We have to say a big thank you to our patrons as well. Our patrons help us to create episodes that are hopefully very entertaining and helpful to you, especially if you cruise. You can find out about becoming a patron in the description section below. There's a link in there. In return, we give you loads of things like episodes that nobody else gets to see, early access and ad-free access to our videos, as well as a monthly video chat and much, much more. Let's close the door on this now, guys. We don't like talking about bad things on cruise ships, so let's close it. We'll keep the controversial door and we'll shut it out for now. Bye. Oh, I nearly forgot. That's it till next time. Happy cruising. Bye.